In this lecture, we're going to learn about comments in C++. Comments are a way to put some messages in your C++ code that are really meant to be read by humans. And one way we have to do comments in C++ is through this \\/ thing we have here. This is going to comment out the line, so the compiler is really not going to care about it. It's going to think that it is something that is meant for the developer to see. So this is a one-line comment, and this is how you do it in C++. You can also comment out a block of code in your C++ code, and this is something that comes in quite handy many times. You put your comment in a \* and a * like this. This is going to comment things out in your code, and the compiler is really not going to care about this. Let's hop over to Visual Studio Code and actually play with this. So here we are in the folder that is going to contain our code. The first thing I'm going to do is go through the template project. I'm going to copy my files, and I'm going to go up again, and we're going to be learning about comments. So I'm going to put this in the folder on comments. I am going to close whatever folder we have opened in Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to browse to the location where my project on comments is. My project is in this folder that is named 33 comments. I'm going to open the folder, and if I open the main CPP file, I'm going to find the starter project. We're going to remove this const eval thing because we're really not ready to understand this yet. It was in here to help us test that our compilers support C++20. So we're going to remove this, and we're going to put in a message that says, hello world. You already know how to do that from the last lecture. So we're going to say stdc out, hello world, and we're going to say stdendl, and don't forget this semicolon at the end. If you do, you're going to have problems. So make sure your code looks like this. Try to build it to make sure it's working fine. This is going to run the GCC task to build. We can click on the terminal here, and it's going to close the terminal. And we can open a new terminal here if we want. If we do dir, we're going to find our Rooster program inside. We can run it, and it's going to say, hello world. We already know to do this from the last lecture, and in this one, we are going to be learning about comments. The first thing you can do is use // so let's do that. And let's put some message here. This brings in the IOStream library. This is a nice message that is going to give some more information about this statement to whoever might be reading this program. And this is called a one-line comment. You can really put this wherever you want in your C++ file. We can go in the main function, for example, and say this is going to print hello world to the console or the terminal. We can really put this anywhere. We can even put it after the return statement here, and really put in whatever piece of information we think is going to make sense to whoever is going to be reading our program. Okay, this is how you do a one-line comment. You can also do comments across different lines. And the way you do that, you put that in the /* and go down and say */ like this. And whatever is going to be in the middle here is going to be a comment. This is usually called a block comment. You can put in whatever you want. So if you have a piece of text that you would like to use as a comment in your program, this is one way you can do this. One thing you should know though is that you cannot nest these things. But before we do that, let's try to build our program to really show that there is no problem if we have these comments in. The build is successful, and if we click on this terminal and hit enter and hit clear to clear things out in the terminal, we can try to run our Rooster program, and it's going to say hello world. You see that all these green lines, which are comments, are really not affecting the program. All the compiler is going to care about is this include thing. It's going to care about the main function here. It's going to ignore these green things. It's going to be like these green lines that are our comments are not in there. This is the effect comments have on your program. And we're going to be using this a lot in this course. One thing you should know though is that you cannot nest these block comments. So if you try to do something like this and say this is one comment, and come again and say this is another comment, you see that we have problems already. Nesting is not allowed. You're going to get a compiler error, and we're going to learn more about these errors in the next lecture. But don't do this. Don't nest these block comments. If you do that, you're going to get some confusing errors, and this is going to be the cause for them. So don't nest your block comments. It's going to give you headaches. Okay, this is really all we set out to do in this lecture, learning about comments in C++. You can do one-line comments on a single line like this. You can do block comments to comment out a block of text. You can't nest your block comments because that's going to give you a lot of problems. You don't want that. And really use comments wisely and don't overdo it because it's going to turn your program into a novel. And I don't think people want that. So use this feature when you need it to give some more information about your code and don't overdo this. We are going to stop here in this lecture. In the next one, we're going to learn about different kinds of errors and warnings you can see in your C++ program. Go ahead and finish up here and meet me there.